Millions and millions of them. It's black with them. Yeah, we got him. Put up the beach a little bit. It's not absolutely berserk. Ah, dear, dear, dear. Settle down, young man, settle down. Got him. Beautiful little bass. God, still got the line round him, around his tail. Chuck that up there out the way. Maybe. Back he goes. Some of them little fish. He's away. Let's go on. Got a good one. Watch them trebles, watch them trebles, they are sharp. Well, he won't get off. Never in a month of Sundays was he getting off. Come on, mackerel, look at all these mackerel, look. Yeah, so that's 3 follows. Turns having a look at it. Splashes behind it. I've not fished with this lure that often, this particular one. And I'm finding the best way to how I'm getting the follows is it's a slow retrieve. It's a slow retrieve. I don't know if you can see it, but as it gets closer, you better see it. But it's just, it causes like a bit like a speedboat when it goes along. And I find the ripples from that just extend and extend. Changing the subject, the seagulls are diving down on some mini sprats, whatever they are. So every now and again you can just sort of give a few little... I don't think the bass are huge. I think they're little schooly ones. So I don't put on a my best lures, my expensive lures, because my diving sort of lures, just so bloody shallow out there, you see. So all I'm doing, I'm just literally just casting straight out in front, and then moving along a couple of yards. It's a long beach, this one, a couple of yards. So we've got, it's just in this area here where we've been getting the follows. That's quite funny because you see like the splashes just behind it, and it's quite exciting, really. I thought we had a hookup on one, but it's always best to sort of just to keep concentrating and as the lure comes in close, because you can get a take quite in close. You can get a take anywhere, really. I mean, the other day I literally casted it out. I just retrieved about 2 times, bang. You know. So it'd be nice to get it on tape again, but if you... Yeah, so here I am again. I'm fishing over some slightly different ground now. Fishing over some chalk beds. It's shallow, it's low tide, so I've got a popper on again. I've got a Yozuri Hydro popper, it's called. 90mm, about 26 gram. It's casting lovely on this rod. So I had one on the other day on a lure similar to this. So I'm just sort of it's gone a bit bright now, but I can't go shallow anyway. So there's over some kelp, chalk beds, rocks out there. So you can imagine spinners, swallow gear. It's a good place to come and stray line with like a whole peeler crab or something for bass. Just lob it out and that'll just sit in the rocks out there. You want to use some sort of throwaway leads or something on it and just flick it out there. So you could get a real big bass here. I'm not so sure this time of year, but you could get a surprise. So there it is, it comes in. It sits there. It's not got such a big dish on the end of this one, and it's almost like just a subsurface sort of lure. It's in mackerel colour. Now if they're in I'm starving mode, there's lots of little bait fish just down there, and sometimes you get the bass. They like to hug the the first breaker, but there's not much of a swell on today, so that's all dark green kelp out there. Now I'll be amazed if a bass doesn't have a go at this. I really will. There's seagulls following it. You just never know. So there's no need to sort of retrieve too fast with it. I'm just sort of almost like I'm spinning for pike with it, really. Just slowing it down a bit. I find if you go too fast with it, it just really does dig its head down. It doesn't make any splashing at all. Now obviously braid is the best thing to use doing this, but I do struggle with a lot of wind knots when I do this kind of fishing with braid, and I spend more time untangling bloody wind knots than actually doing the fishing. And I find, you know, for the extra disconnection you have with the mono, I'd rather be fishing and you know, and catching fish. I'm sure there's some, I don't know, might be some real state-of-the-art expensive braids out there now where you don't get wind knots or something, but every time I use braid, and yes, I'm using it on a multiplier, I encounter wind knots. And with a fixed spool, I find I can get more distance lure fishing with a fixed spool than a multiplier. So really, you know, when you come down to these places, you've got a short amount of time, for me, when the fish are actually going to feed and take your lure. So you don't want to be spending that time messing around on the bank trying to untangle knots and things like that. So you've got to come to... Hey, there's a bass just jumped out of the water there. Tiny little bass just jumped out of the water. Probably eating these little fish which these seagulls are. So we're just gonna... Every spot has a magic time. There's a magic time when it's going to perform, and also a section of beach is there'll be a bit of beach, you know, away from everyone else. Whether the fish can feel the noise of people swimming in the water or messing around or what, I don't know, but I find that the further you get away from people, the better the fishing is. At least with bass. So, although this lure is not making as much commotion on the surface as my other Yozuri, it's the sister lure, and sometimes you just got to give it a little bit of faith, you know. So every now and again, it does sort of spit, but not as much as I like. It's casting nice. There's not a lot of wind. Yeah, I've got some other lures and bits and pieces, but because it's so shallow, big follows behind the Yozuri people. I'm amazed he didn't take it. I'm just wondering if these... One similar to like that the other day. It's just... There's one fish out there. There's one fish out there. He's a good walk from the car park. Big sort of swirly splashes behind it. Definitely a bass. Just